Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to Quintessa and Gunnar. I hope that you had a wonderful Valentine's Day, but this is also a reminder for you that love is to be celebrated every day. Well, let us find out what happens with Quintessa and Gunnar.
The wind is playing with your hair. I'm watching it painting circles in the air. You're smiling at me like only you could do. Like a perfect dream, and that dream is you. The sun is lighting up your face. We stayed up all night and listened to the rain. Like music kept on playing like a drum. With you in my arms, I'm the lucky one. And I wanna spend the day making love 1,000 ways and more to show. Baby, every time we're kissing, I know it is forbidden, but I can't stop. No, I can't stop. Your body's on my body.
Quintessa. The wind was blowing against my face as I looked up at the moon high above me as the water splashed against the ship. This was something to experience, and I never thought possible that I would be standing here and looking the way I did with a man who I had horribly accused of something he never did. If anything, I was so embarrassed and couldn't face him when I realized the hard truth. Kingsley had misheard the wrong words, and by the time she relayed me the message, I had concocted the wrong idea of Gunnar. Thankfully, Dalton was wise enough, and his bringing us together helped to mend the huge distance between us. The men on board the ship respected Gunnar, and in return respected me. The man who was on this ship was completely different from the man in the palace halls. For one, he got his hands dirty without a care, and didn't wear imperial attire. He spoke like a man whose heart was searching for kindness and equality for everyone, and that made my heart feel all sorts of ways for him. From across the room, he looked up and our gazes met, and he took that moment to walk toward me as he took my hand and pulled me to his arms. I followed the comfort and smiled up at him. "What are you thinking, Princess?" he asked. "Nothing. I left without much word to your parents. I am afraid they would think I was kidnapped as I had planned." He smiled. "No worries. Dalton took care of everything before he brought you aboard." "But Kingsley has been told to keep quiet if she knows what is good for her," Gunnar finished. "That maid of yours has a scheme in mind that I need to beat into shape." I dropped my jaw opened. "Please, my lord, Kingsley is a good woman. She worries about me, that is all." Laughing, he reached to hug me tighter and rubbed my shoulders. "I know, I was jesting. Are you cold? You are wearing thin clothes." He turned toward one of the men on the ship. "Bring her ladyship a cloak." He put it on me as soon as it was brought out, and his hands didn't leave my shoulders. "My lord, how many people know this part of your life?" I asked. "Not many." "Your parents?" "They know, but they want me to put it aside. They would rather I come run imperial duties with them. The idea of me running a ship and trading is something they much rather have hidden under the rug when speaking about their son." "How did you get into this life?" He smiled and turned me toward the water, where he pointed to the reflection of the moon. "Do you see that?" I nodded. "One night, I was on the high coast of the palace, and I thought to myself, what would I give to be able to look at the reflection of the moon at free will with the open wind against my face? And good old Reese mentioned about how he owned a ship for me to take for a spin. I did, and I loved it. We docked ship at a local village and stayed the night. When I woke the next morning, they were bringing in the new batch of slaves to trade on the market. Reese and I were getting ready to return home when I heard the sound of a woman crying. We got there to find her beaten and starved. My heart couldn't resist helping, and I fought to buy her off. "So you saved her?" I asked. He nodded. "She must be so grateful for you. Do you still keep in touch with her?" "Every day. And you know her too." It's Baylor. I turned around to face him. What? Yes. Baylor was a slave being sold off the black markets after her family was taken from her. It took me several long years to find out what happened to them, but I was able to bring her peace. Tears filled my eyes. Oh gosh, how sad that is. And then I reached out and hugged him. You are the most incredible man I have ever met. You saved people, people you don't even know, and now you are going to be my husband. You are like the Robin Hood of all times. He pushed me gently back, and his eyes became smoky. Well, what kind of reward will my wife give me for being such an incredible husband? Gunnar. It is a difference with sleeping with a woman for the pure lust of it, and then sleeping with a woman because you know she's yours, forever. Although we still hadn't consummated our marriage, we slept in the same bed where she allowed me to hold her. The curves of her body fit perfectly in mine, and I felt as if I'd been missing a huge part of my life for so long. As she lay there beside me, I watched as her chest heaved up and down, her gentle breathing and her hair that curled around my shoulders. She was beautiful, the most incredibly gorgeous woman I have ever had in my bed, and she would be the last. I was gazing at her, filled with a deep feeling that made my heart swell, when the ship hit something and sent us flying off the bed. I tried to break her fall as she woke up from the collision. What's going on? She asked out of breath. I'm not sure. Stay here, I'll go find out. I helped her back to the bed where I grabbed the cloak and ran out the deck to find the men yelling. What happened? Dalton rushed over to me from the top pier with only a pair of pants on. I think X is making an entrance. I see his ship, and it looks like he's here to play. He sent over a nice little present that woke us up, but I think you and I got this, don't we? He handed me the scope, and I took a look, finding a large ship with green flags flying in the wind. A smile appeared on me, and I lowered the scope, handing it back to my brother. He doesn't know who he is messing with. Let's give him a warm imperial brother welcome. Don't mind if I do. I turned and rushed back to my chamber where I found Quintessa dressed with a candlestick in her hands. I had to laugh as I closed the door and walked in, lighting the candle on the shelf. What do you plan on doing with that, wife? I asked. I don't know. What's going on? You're quite lucky, my lady. You're catching me all in my right moments, it seems. I'm about to take out a snake in the world of slave selling. You stay in here. Under no circumstances do you open this door after I leave. Do you understand me? She nodded. Okay. Even if you hear my voice telling you to unlock the door and let me in. The color on her face drained, and she came toward me. Why are you telling me this? I reached her and took the candle holder from her, placing it aside. The man I am dealing with is a coward. Really, but he is a ruthless coward who will hurt anyone and anything in his path. I don't want you to get hurt, so you stay here. Don't make me lose my focus with you out there. She nodded. I promise you. Don't open this door. If you don't do as I say, I will whip your cute little bottom until it's red, with my own hands. The wind was in my favor, and I watched as a small boat with two men began coming toward me, one sitting while one was working the oars. I knew exactly who it was. As the boat neared, I saw that X was exactly as how Arlington had drew him. Dalton's breath picked up beside me, and I reached out to steady him. X was the only one who came onto our ship, as the other man began rowing the boat back. The light of the moon played against his muscles and dark hair, making him look frightening. Long time no see, brother. As he said this, he looked exactly at Dalton and smiled. You are not my brother, Dalton cried. That's right, he sneered. Your mother was a whore, and mine was not. But our father just happened to like both of them to create you and me. I felt Dalton lose his strength beside me, and I reached out to hold him. The man I was searching for was here in my reach, and yet He was also the brother of my own. Prince Gunnar, it's nice you put a face to your name, he said. You don't know me, but I know all about you, and how you have been tailing me. Unsuccessfully, I might add. I stepped forward. I don't think it's unsuccessful, since I got a man of yours to tell me what you looked like. His eyes gleamed and he cocked his head. Arlington? Oh, yes. The man squealed like a pig when I took his intestines out. His wife, by the way, her head can be found on a stake about 4 miles from his burned cottage. My hands curled into fists. You monster. Oh, don't give me that credit until I tell you what I did to his children. You bastard! Dalton cried. What did you do to them? Axe laughed and he crossed his arms. They're living life on my ship, learning how to live, deaf, blind, and mute. My heart sank. You should thank yourself, Prince Gunnar. It was your hand who did this to them. My eyes felt the heavy prick of tears. You are not a man. That's right. I'm not a man. I'm a god. By the way, where is that pretty wife of yours, Prince Gunnar? I felt my hands begin to shake. I saw her parading on the deck earlier tonight. Quite a look she is. She would look very pretty, kneeling before me to wash my feet. You will never get near her, I sneered. Don't be so quick to judge me just yet. You don't know the likes of me, Prince. Then he shifted his eyes to Dalton. Dalton, the name the king gave you is a weak one, just like your mother. I'm gonna kill you, Dalton whispered, for everything you've done to me in the world. Axe walked forward. I invited, brother. That makes you more like me than you know. I am nothing like you, Dalton cried. Axe laughed and replied, Oh, you are every bit like me. He smiled, and then we heard the small boat appear again. I won't do anything to you two tonight. I thought a proper introduction would suffice. The next time, I will kill you both, but not before you watch me ravage your pretty little wife. Quintessa. It was quiet. Too quiet, and I was frightened. There wasn't a sound outside to let me know if there was life or death. My hands were sweating, and my heart was racing. Then I heard heavy footsteps coming outside the hallway, and my breath stopped. I heard it stop right before the door, and then a key was turning in the lock. Gunnar appeared before me with a dark glare on his face, and I let out a breath of relief as I ran to hug him. Is everything okay? I asked. He gently pushed me back, and I cupped his face. What's going on? He looked away, and then he let out a deep breath. Let me take you back home. No, I cried as I stepped away from him. Something happened, didn't it? I deserve the right to know. You can't always protect me by sending me away. It doesn't work like that, my lord. He rolled his eyes and raked his hands through his hair. I'm disgusted at this animal, and the very thought of him touching you has me seeing murder. The only safe place is for you to go back home where I know you will be protected. And what about you? I asked, my head cocking to one side. What about what will happen to you? Have you thought about that? You can't just go and leave me to think I will be okay while you risk everything. You worry about me, my lord, but I worry about you too. But I can't think straight with you close to me. He reached for me and held me close. The very idea of losing you drives me off of a cliff, and the feeling haunts me, my lady. Fear has never been a friend nor an enemy of mine. I have always controlled it, not the other way around. I am learning firsthand that I don't like the feeling it wakes in me. You cloud my very mind, and I find it hard to do anything. I felt tears come to my eyes. My lord, you cannot shut me out like this. I will follow you, I promise you that much. Let me be here with you. I need to be here. He let out a soft murmur of something I couldn't hear and kissed me hard. The way he took over me was like something I had never felt before. It was almost like he was possessed by the need of having me. The feeling left me unglued as I threw my arms around him as tears came down my cheeks. My lord, please don't leave me. Don't take me back. If we are to return, the both of us must return together. I promise you, my lady. I promise that we will return together. I slept in his arms again that night, feeling the protection of his body against mine. But when I woke up, I was alone, and when I ran up to the deck, Dalton was sitting there picking the dirt off his boots as the sun was warmly rising up high in the sky. "Where is he?" I asked. Dalton sighed and stood up, brushing the dirt from his hands. "He asked for your forgiveness before he left." I laughed, and anger filled my heart. "It doesn't work that way, Dalton. He can't do that to me every time he feels I may be in danger. He sent you to greet me at our wedding, and now he sends you to apologize for him. What kind of man is he?" "Princess, lower your voice. You may not agree to what my brother did, but you do not know what kind of man that was visiting us on this ship last night. Gunnar is too kind to sharing those details with you, but I am not him. And I tell you, the man he is keeping away from you has left children deaf, blind, and mute on his ship simply because my brother asked their father to draw his face." The blow of the monstrous act left me unsteady on my feet as Dalton sat down again. "What kind of man does that?" "Not a man, only a monster. And Gunnar is protecting you. The only way to keep you safe is to send you back home." "But our wedding is in 8 days, Prince Dalton." "And he will return to you in 8 days, if you promise to stay away so his mind can be kept clear." Thank you for tuning in. Chapter 7 will be out shortly.
The wind is playing with your hair. I'm watching it painting circles in the air. You're smiling at me like only you could do, like a perfect dream, and that dream is you. The sun is lighting up your face. We stayed up all night and listened to the rain, like music kept on playing like a drum. With you in my arms, I'm the lucky one, and I wanna spend the day making love 1,000 ways and more to show. Baby, every time we're kissing, I know it is forbidden, but I can't stop. No, I can't stop. Your body's on my body. I know you really got me, 'cause I can't stop. like a drum. I'm the lucky one.